A specter is haunting society, and that specter is the scamish world of love. Now, this is not meant for people who collectively have a genuine pursuit of what they think is love, even what they believe is some kind of mutual affection they can possibly find that they can't find in person, otherwise couldn't find in person due to time restrictions, shyness, things of that nature. I'm talking about the sphere of influence that is finding love on the internet. We seem to have collectively lost interest in genuinely getting to know people on deeper levels than we possibly could know ourselves. We seem to have lost touch with the fact that it could be a possibility. We've inherited some really bad habits, and the powers that be have taken full advantage of it. Like anything else, we have a market, and the markets are made to exploit people for the market's financial gain and all the market's constituents' financial gain. Love is no exception with that. See, when you tell people love, they assume that we're talking about something that's innately human, something that you innately feel in your soul, if we actually have one, something you innately feel in your heart, something you've been programmed since you were young to believe is a real thing. Now, this video is not for the argument that it is or it isn't a real thing. It's simply to talk about how the internet has scammed us into believing in its idea of love. Back in about 2019, I was coming off of a breakup, general heartbreak you feel after a breakup, specifically if you're not the cause of it. But I'm sure we all tell ourselves things like that. I'm not the reason why, and it's usually used to justify our ability to move on. It's a pretty human reaction, but I discovered the world of internet dating. Internet dating, like most of social media, is a aperture where you can essentially be whoever you want and delude yourself into believing you can find whatever it is you're looking for, no matter how realistic or delusional it is. Now, these rules back then I didn't believe it applied to me. I was genuinely looking for rebounds, recoveries, and recoil. It turned out my mind was absolutely blown at the ease with which we can transmute and translate our idea of love and what we're looking for onto profiles. Now, this was at the peak of COVID-19, so there wasn't a whole lot to do. There wasn't a whole lot to entertain a potential mate, a potential partner for. There wasn't a whole lot to do. And I thought, what better way to get to the bottom of someone's nature than to simplify things? Now, my idea about dating was no different than the average human being walking the earth. We get spoon-fed cultural and societal ideas about meeting someone, finding Mr. or Mrs. Right, no matter what your sexual preference is, and live happily ever after, perhaps have some kids, perhaps set up a future for those children, things of that nature. Now, I knew a whole lot more than I knew back then about how insidious the interaction, the world, and the sphere of influence that finding love exhibited. But I gave these dating apps a try, and to my knowledge, I was doing everything right. I was being as genuine and transparent and as honest as possible, so that way we can avoid any discomforts when I actually met the woman in person. And while I think that some people, not all people, and definitely not most people, have some modicum of success on dating apps, at the very least, it accomplishes the job it claims it set out to do, which is for you to meet friends and specifically people who could potentially be partners. But what I discovered was the world in which the dating apps and the dating world online in general creates is an entire fabrication. At the raw minimum, within the context of the people on these dating schemes online A lot of them are very genuine, but in my opinion, people in general don't do enough self-work to begin to be prepared for the relationship they claim they want. So we're already starting out with bad faith. In fact, I would argue that there isn't enough self-work in the world that can prepare you for a real, genuine connection, especially if you've understood the complications of living with somebody, cohabitation, working through problems, things like that. Lack of self-awareness, lack of self-accountability. Some of the worst things you can possibly experience as a human on this earth runs wild on these apps, runs wild in the dating scheme and the dating scams on the internet. And I don't just want to focus on the apps, even though I've talked about that ad nauseum in this introduction. This world is entirely controlled by consumerism, commodifications, placebo effects, and algorithms. Do you believe in determinism? Do you believe that most things are, in a way, predetermined? Determinism is a concept in philosophy that comes from the idea that humans don't actually have free will, whether it be scientifically, synapses and things going off in our brain that happens before it actually reaches your conscious, things like that. Now, there's lots of determinism when it comes to these scammy fields of finding love and dating online. These models that are made for us to find love are mostly a scam. If we're talking about the most fundamentalist definition of what a scam is, and we deconstruct what these things actually do and who controls these models, then I believe it fits perfectly into what the model of what a scam is. The love market, as I like to call it, is designed to add as much color and excitement and to pull you further away from the reality that it actually is. And this is what is responsible for the collective delusion that we have about our approaches to finding love. Dating apps aren't exclusively procured to help busy people find love. They're aimed to take your money, take your time and money using the same model as pretty much any other product or service, selling you on a need you may have in the most fanciful way possible. Most people have a carnal need for affection from other people. The apps prey on the desire by giving you the perception of options. Swipe right for yes, left for no, making you feel as if you're in full control of your partner when you're absolutely not. It's like going to a bakery and picking out the kind of pie you like. They're programmed to match a very selective little with another, while us everyday people, average people, run through dud after dud after dud. The people in the apps and online looking for potential soulmates are not scammers. It's the market itself and the constituents, the companies in the market, looking to profit off of people's false hopes and, dare I say, lack of ability to even have love. The fact that you're not successful repeatedly in the love market makes you a commodity, makes you come back for more, making them more richer. That's a scam. Selling you a product in the most false advertised way as possible, it's a scam. Dating shows are absolutely no better. I mean, these things have already existed. Remember back in the days we had Love Connection, but most of these shows are designed for you, the viewer, to watch them, and it garners these peak ideas about something that's already scripted and predetermined by the producers, by the writers, by the prop managers, by the stage managers, things of that nature. And unfortunately, you're seeing usually what is the best of the best out there, and that's purposely done. These people are purposely chosen. You pop the balloon if you don't like someone, forget whether or not you actually care about finding love. That becomes vacuous, that becomes an afterthought. It becomes about clout chasing, it becomes about being a victim of the moment, not thinking about your future and how important it is to actually find love and find partnership, because those things are very important for the sustenance of a society. Love languages are also a thing. These things are always inundated in conversations with people, and it's like, what is that? Comes straight out of a nonfiction book by someone named Gary Chapman, who happens to be a Bible thumper and probably does not fit into the characteristics he describes in the 5 love languages. Of course, you have to buy the book. Go figure. These things have made their way into common language usage, and it's problematic because they're not based in any science. And that's probably why they've made themselves into common language usage. It's because they're not based in any science. It's like the further away we get from reality, the brighter the lights get. And that's what the love market's intention actually is. It's another capitalist way of deluding ourselves and to deluding one another that we're actually in control of something that most of the times we're not in control. Like, there's so many factors as to why someone likes you or not, or desires to love you or not. There's so much preconceptions and predetermined things that go into that. This video is not actually for that. But just know that no matter what these love market arbiters sell you, you're not in full control of that. Let's not even talk about romance scams. Predatory minefield of possibly Nigerian techies or wannabe techies that prey on like very vulnerable and gang goofy men and women. And that is a downright scam that's been extensively studied. While looking for love in 2025 has become more folly than not. I think we're all participants in this charade that entitles the love market and its constituents to scam us, because most of us are always looking for the next best thing. The scammy world of matchmaking and love is designed to do one thing, and that's to persuade you that you're in full control. And that's how it continues to make money, giving you the illusion that there will always be someone out there for you, no matter how much inner work you haven't done, no matter how much you lack self-accountability, no matter how much you've scared partners away, good partners, no matter how much of a narcissist you are, no matter how much of a kleptomaniac you are, no matter how many problems that you have that you refuse to deal with, the love market will always sell you the conclusion that you deserve love.